Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Kitchings Table. I'm your host, Earl Kitchings, and as always, we are happy to be with you on this Tuesday morning because, as usual, we have something that we would like to get off our chest, share with you, enlighten you, whatever the case may be. That's what we want to do here at the Kitchings Table, and we are so happy to be with you this morning. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone is still staying positive and staying safe. The COVID virus has yet to be totally downplayed to a point where it's at a minimum. And as I've shared with you in the past, you can kill a bacteria, but you can't kill a virus. So COVID is never, ever, ever going away. And you have to do all you can to protect yourselves and your loved ones from those things that could cause you harm or danger in today's world, especially when we talk about this particular medical phenomenon, something that we've not seen in 100 plus years. However, here on Awesome Radio 106.9 WBISLP, we are happy to bring you our topic for today. And I got to tell you, I'm just a little miffed. I'm a little miffed over some things that are going on in my state in particular, but in other states, because the leadership of these states is kind of gone haywire. They are off the rails, and it causes very, very strong concern, very concerned when those in charge, those in power are using that elected power from an abusive standpoint, or to misuse it, or to use it for their betterment or their gains. And I understand politics is what it is, and it is a very, for lack of words, unsavory business at times. It has all kinds of nuances, and it can cause all kinds of problems. It can get people in all kinds of trouble. It can have things said that weren't meant to be said, and some things that weren't said need to be said. But politics is a very, very volatile and dangerous profession, if I may say it that way. And as we continue to look at the leaders in our states, in our cities, in federal government, and the decisions that are being made, the ideas they have in mind about doing things from their perspective or their party's perspective, or what they feel is necessary in order to get what they want, it becomes a problem. And I must say that I am just a little miffed at the leadership here at the state level here in the state of Florida. So let's delve into what my concerns are and what's got me a little miffed this morning. It is just unbelievable how many things continue to pop up that those in charge tend to want to either have put into play that are not the will of the people, but the will of the party. So when we talk about the word leadership, if I ask you, describe your ideal leader, or what characteristics would you think a good leader should have? What would you describe as leadership in your opinion? As you think about that, let me just share with you my thoughts. The word leadership derives from the action of an individual leading an organization, group, or business. It has long been thought of as a character value and moral integrity attribute of the individual placed or elected to such a position. However, in the past 5 years, there have been many, many individuals who have less than those skills and attributes for the position to which they held or hold. Leadership in 2022, 2021, 2020, leadership, when we talk about political leadership, well, not just political leadership, because leadership just in general, because there are a lot of leaders from all facets that can come under this umbrella. But let's just dwell on leadership. Leadership has now become overwhelmed in the idealism of power. And that's not to say that it wasn't always like that. But in 2021, 2022, perhaps going into 2023, there seems just to be this fetish, this desire, this need. I gotta have more power, as if your lights are not working properly and you need the electric company to give you more juice. So this idea of power and being powerful. And to those who have failed to deliver or live up to the responsibility of showing and being a leader, their corruption and greed has become more important than their character and integrity. Corruption and greed. And greed is the underlying factor to a lot of this. I need more power. I need more money. It has totally downplayed character values. And I've said this several times, perhaps on this show, but one of my favorite quotes that I just totally think is of much, much value comes from the former, now deceased basketball coach of the UCLA Bruins, a man who won 10 national championships in a row, Coach John Wooden. And he cited this particular quote: "Be more concerned about your character than your reputation." Your reputation is who people think you are. Your character is who you really is, or who you really are. So when you think about your character, responsibility, being a leader, worry more about the character values that you should show as opposed to your reputation. Reputation can be short-lived. You can be in power and have that reputation of being this type of president, governor, mayor, whatever you want to be, CEO, CFO, COO, coach, athletic director, whatever, for a short period of time. When that time is over, you must move on to the next phase of your life. They no longer have values of doing what's just and right. A lot of political leaders are not concerned about doing what's just and right. A lot of business leaders are not concerned about doing what's just and right. They're concerned about power, greed, and more power. And of course, power translated means more money. How much money can a person have to satisfy their needs? When is enough enough? And for those of you who are capitalists and believe in such ideals, you can never have enough. This is true. You can never have enough. How about putting some of that enough into some positive and good things to help people? Help people, help situations, instead of just trying to get more power, more money. That's the only thing that drives some people: more power, more money. And it's unfortunate that people have that as a value. There's nothing wrong with making money and having money. But when you have so much that you don't do some good things, that's when it becomes an issue for me. I wonder, how can such individuals look into the eyes of an innocent child and tell them how to act and behave, how to be a good loser and show sportsmanship, how not to whine and cry if they lose, how cheating at whatever cost is the path to winning and being hailed as a champion? Whining, crying, cheating, not doing what you need to, not accepting a loss, not accepting the fact that You did everything you could to win, but you still come up a little short, especially in an individual effort, an individual sport. Unlike a team sport, you rely on others. In an individual sport or a business operation, whatever your endeavor may be, everything won't always go your way. And when you come up a little short, as the Japanese proverb says, fall 6 times, get up 7 times. Just get back up and get back at it. Coaches will tell you, hey, son, if you didn't make it this time, get up, work a little harder, and get back at it the next time. So how can the leaders who say they are leaders, who have the position of leadership, talk to a child about responsibility, integrity, how sportsmanship has value, not to whine and cry when you lose, not to cheat just to win, to cheat just to win. I bring this point to our show today because of how annoying it has been to see such behavior happen and in several instances go unchecked and unpunished. Go unchecked and unpunished. The cheating, the whining, the crying, the stealing, to do whatever you think is necessary in order just to win, for the sake of saying you won. When you should know that if you didn't win, why cheat to win? Why do you need to cheat to win, to satisfy your ego? But there are those who must do it that way. My point today has to do with the recent desire of a state governor here in Florida, I'm going to be direct, to bully one of the state's top employers into a hostile takeover by state government for the sake of control and, as usual, about the money. Now, we have a situation in the state of Florida that if you don't go along with the governor, what he wants, what he desires, he whines and cries about it. Not as much as a former president did, but still, he goes out of his way to try or to punish those who don't go along with his point of view. Now, the First Amendment to the Constitution guarantees freedom of speech. So if you have a viewpoint of how you want things and I don't see it that way and I speak out about it, if you take it personal and wish me injury or harm, is that right and fair and just? I should be able to speak up against what I don't think is right, just as you speak up about what I am not in favor of. But that's not the way some of these people work, some of these leaders, so-called leaders. And this goes to this point. In the state of Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis is making a point with the largest and most popular private employer in the state, and that company being the Disney company and the Disney properties and Disney World and everything in Central Florida that has Disney and Disney brand on it. And for those of you who may not be aware, I bring this point out because if he gets away with this, what state will be next when an employer or a company or corporation does not go along with the will of the governor or that faction of people who want things to be done their way? A democracy is supposed to be the will of the people, not the will of the one. See, that's a dictatorship. What this governor has in mind is an autocracy, as the former president had in mind was an autocracy. We're going to run it our way, and it's only going to be our way. Border edge dictatorship. Some people want to just be the king or the queen, depending on where you are. My word is law, and that's all that matters. That's what we have going on in the state of Florida right now. And it's unfortunate that a company, and you know this company You've known this company for years. It's been around. The total company has been around since the late 30s. In the state of Florida, it's been around for 50 years. For 50 years. A good steward in the state of Florida. Cutting edge technology, cutting edge ideals about how to make the world better. A company that emphasizes the love and the nurturing of children. How can you be against children? So you have a situation. And the Disney company spoke out against Florida House Bill 1557, where that bill wants people in the state of Florida not to say gay. Don't say gay about those individuals who may be or have that persuasion. Disney was not in favor of that. The employees at Disney were not in favor of that, saying, don't say it. Don't say it. The governor wants people not to say it. You know, this bleeds into that critical race theory thing. Truth is the truth. We have a diverse population of people in the state, a diverse employee base in the state of Florida, an employee base that works at the largest private employer in the state. And Disney listened to their employees and followed the strength and the voices of their employees when they say, don't do it. Don't be like some other companies. Don't vote in favor or don't go along with this bill. So when Disney spoke out against the bill that says don't say gay, the governor got upset. Got upset to the point where you know how bullies are. You know how people who don't get their way can behave. When they don't get it their way, they tend to lash out. They tend to take retribution. They want to get some payback. So what he's doing now is pushing to dissolve the Reedy Creek Improvement District. And if you're not familiar with the Reedy Creek Improvement District, let me share with you what that is. In the early 70s or the late 60s, Walt Disney and his brother Roy decided they wanted to have another amusement park built in the United States. Now, of course, the weather cooperates with Disneyland in California. So what would be the two options where weather might cooperate in the United States and you can go there year round? Texas, maybe. Florida was the option. And they made a decision that they were going to build a brand new amusement park in the state of Florida. But where would they place this park was the question. Now, one thought or one course of action that came about was the idea of putting it in North Florida, i.e. Jacksonville, Duval County. For whatever reason, that did not happen. And I have my own personal beliefs about that relate to the fact that because of Disney's mission, what they stand for, what they believe in, having seen them come out with the exhibit back in the mid 60s at the 1964 World's Fair, when they first released the exhibit, It's a Small World After All, where they depicted children in animated characters from around the world. children from around the world. It's a small world. We say that a lot. It's a small world. We get to see somebody, know somebody, didn't know that they knew the same people we knew. We were related to someone, didn't know they were this close to us in our hometown or wherever. It's a small world. And that was what this exhibit was about. It's a small world after all. The world is a big place, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big. So when you use and depicted children in this exhibit, you cannot bring that type of tone. You cannot have that type of atmosphere in an environment that does not embrace diversity. Jacksonville was not the right place at that time. Maybe even perhaps today is not the best place for true diversity to happen. So they decided to take it to Central Florida. And what better place than to put it in Central Florida, because it's in the middle of the state. They decided to put it in the place that was a little small sleepy town. Although it was in the 7th largest county in the state, Orlando, Florida was not that popular. It was not that populated. It was not seen to be a place that people would travel to. You had Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, St. Petersburg as the primary vacation places. Once Disney and the Disney Corporation made the decision to build the next amusement park in Central Florida, the whole climate in that area changed. In 1972, they opened Disney World, Cinderella's Castle, the whole nine. And from there, they kept growing and expanding that brand and that amusement park. The Reedy Creek Improvement District gave Disney the autonomy to make decisions of their own about how they wanted to do business on their property, basically their own city, their own community. And the state of Florida at that time gave them carte blanche to, okay, great. Now, because of their track record, Disney was not some crazy company that was doing things that would hurt people or, keep people from being progressively diverse and things of that nature. It was all about diversity. They built this amusement park and they kept building. Disney World, Epcot Center, hotels, transportation. Then they start infusing their other business entities into this, which made the media a part of it. So they just kept growing a company and a brand that everyone loved and wanted to embrace. And because they had this autonomy for the last 50 years, the state of Florida saw no reason to interrupt what they were doing. It was a great template. Only Disney probably could pull it off, and they were pulling it off. There were no problems at Disney from an employment standpoint for the most part. The fact that they were growing businesses, providing employment, doing other things to help give them that 5-star rating, if you want to give it that. And we'll talk about that in the second part of our show today a little bit. But they created this district, and it was great until you get a leader who's a whiner and a crier, who prefers to slant things his way and the ways of the people who see it his way, maybe from a standpoint of wanting to cheat, maybe. So he's wanting to punish Disney by giving the state authority to run and have a little bit more say-so and control over this Reedy Creek Improvement District. And while supporters of DeSantis see his actions as a leader doing the right thing, pushing back on corporate America, challenging a West Coast company from bringing their values to an ultra conservative state. We don't want those values here. They're not good for our state. We rather have it a different way. This battle has just begun. The fallout from this has just begun. The Disney Corporation has been an avid employee in the state of Florida since 1972. And as I said, there's a prime reason why the sleepy little town of Orlando and the surrounding counties, it didn't just affect Orange County, Seminole County, right? Got some of it. The surrounding counties around it all benefited from the growth of this amusement park. As a matter of fact, it caused Universal Studios to become a popular destination in Orlando. They grew their business with an amusement park and all these other things. So a lot of positive things spun off. Businesses, employment opportunities spun off, hospitality opportunities spun off. So it became one of the top 5 destination places in the United States of America. Orlando. It has over 77,000 employees, and it has made millions upon millions of donations over the 50 years that they've been here. So the action of a political tyrant is hypocritical against the Constitution's First Amendment freedom of speech. You want to have freedom of speech, Mr. Governor, Mr. Leader. That's why leadership is in peril. You want to have freedom of speech, and your cohorts want to have freedom of speech. But when someone speaks against what you believe in, then it's a problem. And in a volatile time where people of all backgrounds now seek to be free to express themselves, those individuals, some of whom who are in this faction of people like the governor, may have some people in their families who may be of a LGBT persuasion. So these people are all revved up to follow a lawmaker down a path of employment destruction. They want to kill what has been a good thing for so many years. It's unfortunate that this company has to now contend with such a leader in this state where over 50 years of growth, progress, diversity, all the good things you can think of come along with Disney. The brand is just synonymous with goodness. Now, because they don't like what you stand for. And I'm going to read some things from their mission statement that basically will say, if the governor had any research in him and had done his homework, maybe he would have found this out. But it doesn't matter because they want to turn things backwards anyway. They want things to be slanted anyway. So it's okay. And this is what has me a little miffed. So that's the first part of our show today. Leadership peril, where you have people who just want to not be real leaders, but tyrants, dictators in some respects, autocrats in another respect. You know, not the will of the people, but the will of the party. Not what the people want, but what I want, what we want, not the inclusiveness. So you're listening to the Kitchings Table here on WBISLP 106.9 FM. Every Tuesday morning, you can catch me, Earl Kitchings, your host, here on the Kitchings Table, Roku TV, GPAC 23, Facebook Live, and YouTube are just the other platforms that carry our show. And we're happy to be with you on Tuesday mornings to bring you what we feel may be of some value, some importance. So we now move into our pantry section of our show today. And the pantry section deals with who is the Disney company? Who is this phenomenal company that started back in the late 30s and hinged its success on a rodent? the most wealthiest rodent in the world, per se, Mickey Mouse. A man had a vision of a cartoon character and grew it into the world's most recognized brand for children in the world, in our universe. Mickey Mouse, the mouse ears, the mouse brand, everything that came along and comes along with the Mickey Mouse brand as it relates to Disney and the Disney brand and all the entities that are part of this marvelous and magnificent company. That's what we're going to talk about in our pantry today. Disney is headquartered in Burbank, California, founded in 1923, October 16th, by Walt and Roy Disney. And their subsidiaries are just a few, starting with Disneyland, Disney World Resort, Hulu, Pixar. It's phenomenal. And I just want to share, this bit of phenomenal information about Disney with you. So the mission of the Walt Disney Corporation is to entertain, inform, and inspire people around the globe through the power of unparalleled storytelling, reflecting the iconic brands, creative minds, and innovative technologies that make ours the world's premier entertainment company. Our commitment to creativity, technology, and innovation generates unparalleled experiences that drive long-term value for our shareholders. Our approach to corporate social responsibility is built upon the company's long and enduring legacy of engagement in our workplaces and communities and our actions to protect the environment. So as of June 25th, 2021, Disney had produced 119 feature films. 119 feature films. 119 feature films. Disney parks include many well-known theme parks, resorts, cruise line, and other experiences around the world. The more popular ones are these: Walt Disney World Resort in Florida, Disneyland Resort in California, Disneyland in Paris, and the Disney Cruise Lines. Disney Media and Entertainment Distribution combines technology, media distribution, and advertising sales into a single business unit via the following stream services: Disney Plus, ESPN Plus. Now, for those of you who did not know it, Disney owns ESPN. Hulu, Hotstar, Disney Music Group are some of their subsidiaries. And according to Disney's annual report that ended October 2nd, 2021, total revenues exceeded $67 billion, and the net income was $2 billion, up from a loss of 2.8 in 2020. COVID caused them to go down. They rebounded. So their entities: Disney Media Networks include Disney, ESPN, Freedom Forum, FX, and National Geographic Brands and Network. The business includes ABC brands of broadcast television and 8 domestic television stations. Disney also owns a stake in A&E television networks. Disney Parks, Experiences, and Products businesses include all of its theme parks and resorts. The company's consumer products include licensing of trade names, characters, and other intellectual property. In addition, Disney sells branded merchandise through direct retail, online, and wholesale businesses. Studio entertainment includes motion picture production for Walt Disney Pictures, 20th Century Studios, Marvel, Lucasfilm, Pixar, Searchlight Pictures, and Blue Sky Studios. Disney has others in businesses that provide for the development, production, and licensing of live entertainment events. Direct to Consumer International, DC Disney's DTCI businesses include Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu. Disney also has branded international television networks and other digital content platforms. So that gives you the full scope of who Disney is, how large the company is, and what all they do. They do a lot. They do a lot. And a lot of this helps to generate jobs, helps to create technology and innovative technology and innovative things to better life. Again, in Florida alone, it employs 77,000 people just in Florida. So when we talk about Disney and you talk about a man who wants to harm Disney, because that's the only way I can look at it. You're trying to harm a brand and a company that's done nothing but been a plus for your state. I asked the question, Governor, do your children enjoy going to Disney, or did they enjoy going to Disney? Did you think about all this when you were raising your children when they were young kids, about the fact that Disney, such a great employer in the state of Florida, was doing everything within the confines of their own organization to build and grow a great company? Were you thinking about all that? Or did it not just occur to you after you became the leader of the state of Florida? This is why I'm a little miffed, because for all the good Disney does, to contend with a leader who, because you just spoke out against what he wanted to put value on, he wants to take it out on you, makes no sense. When we talk about a Disney, aside from all the employment opportunities they provide, from their theme parks to their hospitality to their films to their animated characters to everything they've done, what about the charitable part that Disney involves itself in? Charity. Because giving back to a community, to a country, should be paramount on a lot of companies in this country. If you're making that kind of money, why is it so hard to just give a portion back from the standpoint of doing charitable work? So here's what Disney says about their charitable giving. Charitable giving that they report includes grants specifically directed toward historically underrepresented and protected communities, including the Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders, Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans / Indigenous, and LGBTQ and community. LGBTQ plus community, people with disabilities, veterans, and women. We also include grants to organizations where a percentage of their services reach underrepresented and protected communities. Since 1995, the Disney Conservation Fund, this is a whole nother thing. The Disney Conservation Fund has directed more than $120 million to support nonprofit organizations working with communities to save wildlife, inspire action, and protect the planet. Since 2000, Disney has donated more than 87 million books to First Book, a nonprofit organization providing free and affordable new books to educators who serve kids in need, helping to foster a love of reading and inspiring children's curiosity. Then we have this. For more than 70 years, the Walt Disney Company has supported the Marines Toys for Tots program to bring comfort, happiness, and inspiration to children and families in need during the holiday season. In 2021, the company, the company continued that tradition with a $500,000 donation to Toys for Tots to kick off the Disney Ultimate Toy Drive. And then finally, we're talking about charitable giving. We're not even talking about the part that deals with employing people. We're talking about what they give back. Disney Parks and Resorts Food Rescue Program. Now, how often do we talk about wasting food? How often is it said that food is just in this country tossed away because of some of the policies and guidelines for food usage? Food, for many, is a valuable commodity. Those people who suffer with being homeless, having a meal every day is important to them. Having shelter and clothing is important to them. So when we talk about the amount of food that this country wastes every day, day to day, how much food is wasted at our schools each and every day, the amounts of milk, the amounts of fresh fruits and vegetables that are thrown away every day by children who choose to rather have snacks than nutritious food. When we talk about the people who are starving and hungry, not just in this country, but around the world, that is another atrocity. But Disney Parks and Resorts Food Rescue Program, providing more than 1.2 million meals annually to Feeding America for kids and families facing hunger. 1.2 million meals. That's just their portion. There are other companies that do similar things. This company gives 1.2 million meals away every year to those people who are in need and hungry. So when you look at the charitable giving of a company like a Disney, from conservation to education to toys to food, employment, innovation, and technology, when you look at the whole scope of a company like Disney, how do you even fathom that one man and a faction of those people who believe in what he says and what he believes in doing can be on the right side of leadership? How can you believe this? If you had such an issue with, or if you have such an issue with Disney's situation on the Reedy Creek Improvement District, why not find a way to expand the opportunities to be partners instead of trying to shut it down and make it come under the auspices of state government? It's being said that now you want Orange County to maybe have to deal with some of the issues of fire and rescue. Disney has its own fire and rescue department. They don't need someone to come from miles away to try to avoid problems on their property. They have their own. They thought of everything. They even have a solar farm whereby Disney, if I'm not mistaken, is 99% using the solar farm to generate the power to take care of all of their businesses on their property at Reedy Creek. They have their own solar farm. They're self-contained. Why make it an issue? They're doing things the right way with a great template. Because they don't believe in what you believe in, Mr. Governor, you want to play hardball. You want to, get back at them. For a company seen around the world as the one that is children-oriented, children-friendly, why does one man feel the urge to affect policy to disrupt such a giving employer and one that everyone views as a very awesome employer. Why? Because they are not in favor of your policy or the House Bill 1557 that says don't say gay. We've evolved into this culture now in this country and around the world that embracing this group of individuals who should have the right to be who they are. They have that right. Like it or not, they have the right to do that. Like it or not, they have the right. The Constitution guarantees them the right to speak up because of freedom of speech if there's something they don't like. And because a corporation is not going your way, you want to punish them from this perspective, from a business perspective. I ask this question, though. Does the governor have a Ron DeSantis Foundation? Not a Governor Ron DeSantis Foundation, just the Ron DeSantis Foundation. And if you do, sir, and those who favor you and like you and want to do things like you, do they have foundations? And if you do, as you try to emulate the former president, do you give back to this country, to groups that are in need? Not your political groups who have political clout and money. Not people in need. Those people don't need anything. Do you have the same power of giving back? Do you have the same desire to give back like the Disney Corporation, sir, Mr. Governor? Do you have that design? I asked the question. If not, why not? Mr. Governor, Mr. Former President, show us your business ledgers to show what you're doing to support mankind, to support people who are hungry, to support children who would like to have a toy for Christmas, to support the educational process of giving books to children, some who don't have books in their homes, to help the planet conserve resources and save wildlife. Show us what you're doing, sir. If you're so powerful and you have all this clout that you want to wield, show us what you're doing. I dare you. I challenge you. Show us. Show us your goodness. Show us your love. Show us that you care as much as this company does and has been doing for decades now. When you can do that, sir, when you can be at this level of caring and giving, perhaps those of us who don't see it your way may have a better viewpoint of you. But until then, sir, and all those who are like you and spew all this negativity, this selfishness, this hypocrisy, this need for power and greed, tell that homeless, hungry child, tell them what you're doing. Tell them why cheating is the way. Tell them why not doing what's good and right, what's just and right is the way. See what they say. I say this to you, sir, and those who are like you. Stand up and man up or woman up. Stand up, man up or woman up to be the company that a Disney is. But until then, the fight goes on. the battle goes on. I hope that Disney can come out on the positive end of this political challenge from this political player and his faction of believers. It will be a sad day in the state of Florida when a company like Disney is so impacted that they can't do what they've been doing for over 50 years because someone disagrees with their right to say what they do and what they believe in. This is the Kitchings Table every Tuesday on Awesome Radio, WBISLP 106.9 FM. We bring you thoughts and things to make you think, make you ponder, give you some information about things you don't know about. I hope this has been enlightening to you. Forgive me for wanting to be a little miffed and express myself, but now you know a little bit more about the Disney company. Now you know a little bit more about what's going on in the state of Florida, how the governor and Disney are locked up in this battle. Keep your eyes and ears open because it could be coming to a neighborhood or community near you. Until next time, I'm Earl Kitchings saying so long, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.